Welcome back to Teach Fair. If you've ever held a camera and felt that quiet spark of possibility, like you might capture something truly extraordinary, today's journey is made for you. Because in this video, we're diving into one of the most iconic pieces of photographic engineering ever created. A camera that refuses to age, a camera that continues to shock even in a world obsessed with mirrorless technology, a camera that many professionals still trust with their reputation. Yes, we're talking about the Nikon D850. But this isn't just another review. This video is a deep exploration of why the Nikon D850 became a legend, what makes it so addictive to shoot with, why thousands of professionals still cling to it even as the world pushes them toward mirrorless, and how this camera, released years ago, still competes head-to-head with modern giants. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the D850 in a way most people never do, you might even start to crave the experience of using it. So settle in. Whether you're a photographer, a filmmaker, a tech enthusiast, or simply curious how a device becomes a classic, you're about to discover the camera that changed the game. Let's begin. Imagine you're standing in a quiet landscape. The air is still. The light is soft. The world feels like it's holding its breath. You raise the camera to your eye, not just any camera, but one carved with the kind of precision that makes you instantly feel in control. Your finger rests on the shutter. And in that tiny moment, before you press down, you know you're holding a machine that won't just record what's in front of you, it will elevate it. That feeling of confidence, of capability, of knowing your gear will never hold you back, is exactly why the Nikon D850 is loved by so many. At its core lies a 45.7 megapixel full-frame sensor. But calling it 45.7 megapixels doesn't do it justice. This sensor is a masterpiece. It produces images that feel alive, textured, and deeply detailed. Not clinical, not overprocessed, but breathtakingly real. The kind of real that makes you zoom in again and again, discovering tiny details you didn't even know were there. That's the magic of the D850. It delivers quality that isn't just high, it's soulful. And then there's the dynamic range. Photographers still whisper about it. Shadows that come back to life. Highlights that refuse to blow out, even when you feel like you've pushed them too far. This thing pulls detail out of the darkest corners like it's rescuing memories. You can underexpose, overexpose, challenge it, push it, and it just takes it. Every single time. But the D850 isn't just about photography. No, this camera walked boldly into the world of video and made its mark with a confidence few DSLRs had at the time. 4K full-frame video. Crisp, cinematic, and wonderfully organic. Filmmakers embraced it because the footage didn't look digital. It looked like storytelling. The camera became a favorite for documentaries, travel filmmakers, wedding videographers, and anyone who wanted that rich Nikon color science with the reliability of tank. And speaking of tanks, let's talk build quality. Pick up a D850 and you immediately feel its purpose. The magnesium alloy body is solid, confident, unshakable. It's weather-sealed. Cold, heat, snow, dust, zen. It doesn't flinch. This is the camera that photographers take into deserts, jungles, mountaintops, and freezing tundras. Not because it's flashy, but because it's dependable. In a world full of fragile gadgets, the D850 is the friend who shows up every single time, no excuses. And then there's that beautiful optical viewfinder, a bright, massive, crystal-clear window into reality. No lag, no blackout. No digital interpretation, just the world exactly as it is. There's something spiritual about an optical viewfinder, something pure. When you look through it, you're not seeing pixels. You're seeing life. And that connection between your eye, the moment, and the camera is what many photographers still refuse to give up. That's why so many professionals, even those who own the latest mirrorless cameras, still keep a D850 in their bag. Because sometimes the experience matters just as much as the result. Now let's talk speed. Because somehow, Nikon managed to pack both insane resolution and impressive performance into this machine. 7 frames per second right out of the box. 9 frames with a grip. But what's more impressive is not the number, it's the consistency, the buffer, the precision, the focus system that locks onto subjects with a determination that feels almost human. Wildlife photographers swear by this camera. Sports shooters trust it. Portrait photographers adore the color tones. Landscape photographers worship the detail. Macro shooters love the clarity. And studio photographers praise the dynamic range. It's rare, almost impossible, for one camera to master so many genres. But the D850 does it quietly, confidently, and without compromise. And here's where things get interesting. Despite everything, despite its age, despite new models, despite mirrorless revolutions, the Nikon D850 refuses to fade. In fact, demand for it has stayed shockingly strong. People still search for it. People still buy it. People still talk about it with a kind of reverence usually reserved for classic cars or legendary guitars. Why? Because the D850 is not just a camera. It's an experience. Technology changes. Trends shift. New models come and go. But the feeling of using a tool that makes you better, that inspires you, that pushes you forward, that feeling lasts. The Nikon D850 gives you that feeling. Imagine shooting portraits and seeing skin tones that feel natural and warm. Imagine capturing a sweeping landscape and discovering details in the rocks, trees, and sky you didn't notice in person. Imagine shooting in low light and watching the noise stay controlled, elegant, almost artistic. Imagine filming video that feels cinematic without trying too hard. That's the D850. It's a camera that rewards creativity. Every button is placed where you need it. Every feature is designed to support you. Every shot feels intentional. It adapts to your style, quietly, intelligently, without interruption. And here's the truth. For many photographers, this camera became more than a tool. It became a partner, a companion on road trips, a witness to weddings, a recorder of memories, a time machine that freezes moments so they can live forever. That's why people love it. That's why people don't want to let it go. That's why it still stands tall, even in 2025. So if you've ever wondered what it feels like to use a camera that just gets you, this is it. A camera that doesn't distract you, doesn't get in your way, doesn't overcomplicate things. Instead, it gives you freedom, creativity, trust, control, and the confidence that whatever you point it at, it will deliver. The Nikon D850 isn't perfect. No camera is. But what makes it legendary is something deeper than specs. It has character. It has presence. It has soul. And that's why, years after its release, it remains one of the most beloved cameras ever made. Whether you're a beginner dreaming big, a professional demanding excellence, or someone who simply appreciates beautifully engineered tools, the D850 speaks a language you understand the moment you use it. It whispers, "I'm here. I'm ready. Let's create something unforgettable." And that, more than anything, is what makes this camera extraordinary. So if you've ever wondered why the Nikon D850 still dominates conversations, still captures hearts, and still inspires creativity, the answer is simple. It's not just a camera. It's a masterpiece. One that continues to shape the world of photography, one shutter click at a time. And as we continue this journey into the world of the Nikon D850, let's take a moment to explore something deeper, something many people overlook when they talk about cameras. The relationship between a photographer and their gear. Because the truth is, a camera is more than a machine. It becomes an extension of your vision, a way of translating the world as you see it into a form others can experience. And the D850 has a unique gift. It enhances your vision without ever overpowering it. It never feels like it's trying too hard. It never feels like it's competing with you. Instead, it feels like a calm, steady presence guiding you quietly, almost invisibly. The moment you hold it, its weight reassures you. Not too heavy, not too light, just substantial enough to feel serious. Serious about the moment. Serious about the craft. Serious about delivering results you can trust. As you navigate through its buttons, dials, and menus, something becomes clear. This camera is built for someone who cares. Someone who wants to slow down, breathe, and create. Someone who understands that a photograph isn't just a file. It's a memory, a STO. A fragment of time made eternal. And that brings us to one of the most underappreciated aspects of the D850, the way it makes you shoot. Modern cameras are fast, clever, and hyper-automated. But the D850 encourages a different approach. It invites you to think, to compose, to take your time, to appreciate light, to observe details, to wait for the perfect moment instead of firing off 100 shots hoping one works. It trains you without you realizing it. It sharpens your instincts. It deepens your awareness. It improves you as an artist. People often say, gear doesn't matter. And there's truth to that. But the right gear, the right camera, can elevate how you think, how you feel, how you see. And that's why the D850 stands above the rest. Not because of specs, not because of numbers, but because of how it transforms you while you use it. Every photographer who has spent real time with this camera will tell you the same thing. The D850 has a way of becoming part of you. It becomes something familiar, something comforting. You know exactly how it behaves in low light. You know exactly how it handles movement. You know how to push it and how far it can go. And that creates a bond that's hard to break. And then there's the image quality. Let's talk about that for a moment, because the files that come out of this camera aren't just good, they're exceptional. There's a richness to them, a depth that pulls you in. The colors are natural, honest, and pleasing. Skin tones feel warm and human. Landscapes look alive. Shadows feel gentle, nuanced, filled with emotion rather than noise. When you edit photos from the D850, something interesting happens. You start to enjoy the process more. Because the files give you so much room to work. They don't fall apart. They don't crumble under adjustments. They stretch and bend with you like a perfectly tuned instrument. It's no surprise that studio photographers love it. Wedding photographers rely on it. Commercial photographers trust it. Product photographers appreciate its clarity. And landscape photographers treat it like a holy artifact. Even videographers, who usually demand the latest and greatest, still admire this camera for its color, its simplicity, and the organic beauty of its footage. But beyond all that, the D850 has something even more valuable: longevity. We live in a throwaway culture. Every year brings a new model, a new generation, a new wave of hype meant to convince you that last year's tool is suddenly useless. But the D850 stands quietly in the storm, unaffected. It doesn't need to be replaced. It doesn't need to be topped. It doesn't need a successor to stay relevant. Because it already achieved something rare. It reached a level of completeness. A level where you stop thinking about what it lacks and start appreciating what it gives. And that, more than any other reason, is why the D850 has become one of the most trusted cameras of all time. People know that when they pick it up, they're holding a tool that will last them for years. A tool that will not fail them. A tool that will keep delivering excellence without demanding constant upgrades. It's one of the last great DSLRs. One of the final masterpieces of an era. The peak of a philosophy that valued connection between photographer and machine. And that's why, even today, people still chase it. People still buy it. People still talk about it like it's some kind of legend. And maybe it is. Think about this. How many cameras do you know that still inspire conversation years after their release? How many devices are still considered benchmarks long after they hit the market? How many tools earn the kind of respect the D850 has earned? Very few. And the ones that do, those are the ones people never forget. Now imagine yourself using it. The click of the shutter, the feel of the grip, the quiet confidence that fills you every time you line up a shot. Imagine traveling with it, photographing your family, your adventures, your city, your dreams. Imagine looking back at those photos years from now and feeling grateful that you captured them with something that preserved the moment in all its beauty. Because that's what the D850 does best. It preserves beauty, not just the beauty of the world, but the beauty of the moment, the beauty of memory, the beauty of experience. Whether you're shooting professionally or personally, this camera gives you results that matter. Results you feel proud of. Results that make you smile. Results that remind you why you fell in love with photography in the first place. And maybe that's the real magic of the Nikon D850. Not the megapixels, not the autofocus system, not the frame rate, not the rugged body, but the way it reconnects you to the art of seeing. It reminds you that photography isn't just about capturing images. It's about capturing meaning, emotion, story, life. And with every shutter press, with every quiet click, the D850 helps you build a collection of moments that define you. Moments that shape your journey. Moments you will one day look back on with gratitude. This isn't just a camera. It's a memory-making machine, a storyteller, a trusted companion, a masterpiece in your hands. And that is why, year after year, the Nikon D850 remains unforgettable.